Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm just sitting down to watch my favorite movie, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Yeah, I just respect Scott so much as a character. I just want to be like him. He's so cool with his girlfriend. Although Ramona Flowers did ruin a generation of women. Have you heard the song by Negative XP? I believe in that wholeheartedly. It's definitely not satirical.
Wait, why are you leaving? I'm not gonna gaslight you. I swear I'm not. Come back. Wait, come back. Before we get into the video, I should address that there will be spoilers for this 11-year-old movie. I assume most of you have watched this, but if you haven't, I'll be giving a little bit of context for those who ignore this warning and haven't seen the film. And if you haven't seen the film, well, that means you're obligated to subscribe, like the video, and hit that notification bell. No, you're not. But it would really help if any of you watching would like to subscribe, like the video, comment. Any interaction really helps because I'm a small channel. Anything to help me boost myself up in the algorithm would be much appreciated. I don't really watch movies very often. I'm more of a YouTube and podcast kind of guy. But Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is probably one of my favorite movies. Which is no surprise since it was directed by Edgar Wright, who's known for making great films. The shots in Scott Pilgrim often mimic video games, or look right off the pages of a comic book, which is perfect, because it's based off of a comic book. Well, a set of 6 graphic novels by Brian Lee O'Malley, which takes a lot of inspiration from video games and movies, so it really fits that the movie feels like a video game, or a comic. If you compare scenes on screen to the source material, sometimes it's almost an exact match for what's on the page. Same framing, same everything. There's plenty of small touches, like the chords in the opening scene moving like sound waves, that really give this movie its own feel. Another point for why this movie is good is the characters. There's a pretty large cast, and we get to see their personalities. Besides the twins obviously not being unique, everyone else is pretty damn unique. Some characters who don't have as much spotlight, like Scott's sister Stacy, still have their character conveyed to us in scenes where we do have them. Since they do get more characterization in the comics, we don't get the same experience, but we get the best we probably can with this time frame. A somewhat unique thing about the characters is also that they are terrible. Like the worst. For example, Scott's gay roommate, Wallace Wells. He has a penchant for stealing boyfriends.
It's nice meeting you. Tell your gay friends I said bye.
Gay friend? Wallace! Again?
Or Scott and the band he's in, Sex Bomb, ignoring and treating Neil, or young Neil, as they call him, like a random little kid, not one of their friends. But the most important characters, Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers, are absolute shitlords. I think a lot of guys and girls don't understand that the main characters are flawed role models. We don't often see protagonists that are outright bad people. So I can see why you wouldn't immediately realize this film would be any different. I mean, the movie is filled with video game parodies. People wouldn't expect deep commentary about relationships from that, But that doesn't stop many men and women of the internet, or probably more accurate to say teenagers of the internet, from trying to be like Scott and Ramona. You may have heard the song Scott Pilgrim vs. the World ruin an entire generation of women. This song has had a lot of drama behind it, and about how it's like misogynistic and stuff. It's basically addressing Ramona Flowers and how she became a role model for slutty, air quotes, girls. Personally, I think the song is satire. It's supposed to be from the perspective of an incel, in the same way Your New Boyfriend by Wilbur Soot is satire. But I'm not completely sure. I don't think the artist has said anything about whether it's satire or not yet. The song is definitely wrong in demeaning women in general and saying those who dye their hair or have had multiple sexual partners whores and that kind of stuff. But it is in the right talking about how Ramona is a bad role model. If you haven't seen the movie, it's about Scott Pilgrim falling in love with Ramona Flowers, the woman I've been talking about, and having to defeat her 7 evil exes to win her over. What we learn throughout the movie, though, is that even though the exes are portrayed as the bad guys, since they are the antagonists of the movie and all, Ramona acted just as bad as them or worse during those relationships. Ramona also didn't inform Scott about having to fight her evil exes and was cagey about telling him more about them after he knew they existed. Then there's Scott Pilgrim, the main character. I don't know how people think Scott is the good guy when the literal second sentence of the movie is that Scott is dating a high schooler.
Not so long ago, in the mysterious land of Toronto, Canada, Scott Pilgrim was dating a high schooler.
I mean, this would be okay if this was about, like, you know, seniors or fresh out of school band, that kind of thing. But no, Scott is 22 years old. Bit problematic.
So, you've been out of high school for like 13 years.
I'm 22. 22.
Said high schooler is Knives Chow, who is a 17-year-old Chinese girl. The other characters poke fun at Scott and also bring up how bad, like just bad it is that he's doing this throughout the movie. And he says he doesn't want that he's dating her to be spread around, and that kind of shows that he knows it looks bad, because it is bad. He's dating a high schooler when he's in his 20s. There is basically no excuse for that. I'm sure somebody in the comments might say that Scott isn't in the wrong for dating a high schooler, and it should be fine because they're matured enough and that kind of stuff. But, yeah, that's a hard no for me. You're fucked up if you think that if you comment stuff like that, it's just gonna be deleted. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. With that aside, let's get into the next creepy thing Scott does, besides dating a high schooler. He stalks Ramona at a party after he sees her in a dream. Not only does he follow her around, after she leaves, he asks tons of questions about her, trying to figure out where she's from, where she lives, and all kinds of stuff, asking everyone at the party. I mean, it's not a direct death sentence, but it is kind of weird and creepy, and a bit of a red flag. And then later on, Scott's roommate Wallace and sister Stacy both tell Scott to stop dating his weird rebound high schooler girlfriend.
Then you should break up with your fake high school girlfriend.
I've never been so sure about something.
Then you should break up with your fake high school girlfriend.
What's that?
You should break up with fake high school girlfriend.
I'm not getting it, friend.
You're thinking of juggling 2 chicks.
Not even.
Well, you should break up with your fake high school girlfriend.
Wait, who told you?
And this isn't the first time they've said the relationship was weird either and told him to stop. But Scott just ignores them. It almost seems like he doesn't even remember who Knives is, because he's hyper-focused on Ramona and chasing Ramona. But after this conversation, the movie implies that Scott finally broke up with Knives. He started to break up with her, and then we get a cut to black. But she's still at their band rehearsal, so it's kind of left up in the air if they're just friends now, or if Scott actually managed to finish that breakup.
I think we should,
At least the movie states they haven't done anything sexual. That would have made Scott an even worse character. Scott's an asshole, but he's not a rapist or groomer. Scott buys a package from Amazon so he can see Ramona again, because he learns that she delivers for Amazon. And he ends up asking her on a date. Well, more so refusing to sign for his package until she says yes to the date. She says yes, so he'll take his package and she can leave. And then they plan to meet up that night. They have a nice little walk in the park and talk and hang out some. And eventually, Ramona takes Scott back to her place. They make tea and make out, and then move into the bed and start taking clothes off. Ooh, spicy. But Ramona has second thoughts about sex and decides not to go all the way. Surprisingly, when Ramona changes her mind about wanting to have sex, Scott accepts it without any argument. Which kind of pulls back to what I said before. He's an asshole, but he's not a rapist or groomer. He's not that kind of person. He's a bad person, but he's not that far. But this might also be because Scott has no backbone whatsoever. It's kind of hard to tell. His good streak ends, though, when he invites Knives and Ramona to the Battle of the Bands, and we find out that he didn't have the balls to break up with Knives as she runs up and kisses him. He looks very uncomfortable while Knives kisses him, but it's hard to tell if that's because it's in front of Ramona or because it's a 17-year-old girl that's still in high school kissing him. Knowing Scott, it's probably because it's in front of Ramona. And then we also just see some general shitty behavior from Scott throughout the movie. We learned that he dumped Kim, his fellow bandmate, and she is very upset about it still, you can tell.
Time you dumped Kim.
Okay, me and Kim are all good now, all right?
We can see he is a womanizer from the same scene where we learned he dumped Kim, and seems to be kind of rude. Here's some clips of just general assholery that Scott committed throughout the movie that didn't really fit anywhere else. There you go.
I'm not saying I want to go.
Hey, we can totally go.
I'll do whatever you want to do.
So let's go. Have you ever dated someone that wasn't a total ass?
Well, so far you're not a total ass.
But I'm part ass?
If it makes you feel any better, you're the nicest guy I've dated.
Wait, is that good?
It's what I need right now.
But not later?
Scott.
I broke up with her.
And was she cool with that?
Knives is with young Neil now. She's totally cool with it.
You sure about that?
Yeah, she's very mature for her age. We had a very healthy breakup. We're all peaches and gravy.
What about you and Kim?
Me and Kim? I can barely remember. It was high school. She had freckles.
That's it?
Yeah, it kind of ended. We changed.
That's really the whole story?
Okay, fine. I had to fight a guy to be with her, okay? I fought a crazy 80-foot-tall, purple-suited dude, and I had to fight 96 guys to get to him. He was flying and shooting lightning bolts from his eyes, okay? And I kicked him so hard that he saw the curvature of the earth. Does that make you feel any better?
Well, now you are being a total ass. Welcome to the club.
Maybe you could just give me a list of all your exes so that I can at least know who's gonna beat my ass into the ground next.
Oh, like a handy little laminate or something? Let me see if I have one. Oh, maybe we could exchange our information.
Hey, just out of sheer curiosity and concern for my mortal well-being, is there anyone at this party that you haven't slept with?
Later, after they get in an argument, Ramona even says that Scott is just an evil ex waiting to happen.
Just another evil ex waiting to happen.
Which I could definitely have seen as an ending to the movie if they decide to go a different route. Since the comics hadn't been finished yet, who knows what could have happened. In the ending scene, we see Nega Scott. And he's a nice guy. The opposite of Scott, yet he's like a great guy, which is weird. Until you think about it. And it's because Scott is an asshole. He's not a good guy. So when Gideon made or found Nega Scott, however that works in this universe, Scott was a bad guy, so Nega Scott was a nice guy. Not one of those nice guys, though. He's not wearing a fedora. But at the end of the movie, Nega Scott and Scott Pilgrim agree to go get coffee and are friendly. And this is probably because Scott has gained the power of love and the power of self-respect. He's learned to love others and love himself by the end of the movie. Scott and Ramona walk hand in hand into a new future through a little interdimensional space door thing, where they can develop into good people, hopefully. You can really see an actual change in them towards the end of the movie. Scott gets a literal power-up from learning the power of love. And then after that doesn't work, he realizes what he really needs is self-respect, self-love. The fact that he needs to respect himself enough to not think he has to date a high schooler. To respect himself enough to think that he shouldn't be doing all of these bad things. And he realizes that he's a bad person. And he has enough self-respect to try and change that. Which makes end of the movie Scott a person in the midst of change. Not a good person, but a person trying to change, which is good. But I think a lot of teenage guys look at Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and think, oh, hey, cool movie where main character beats up the girlfriend's exes. Hey, it's got video game stuff. He's got power-ups and extra lives. Wow, that's so cool. And they just think being like Scott is cool and good because Scott's the main character. But Scott's an asshole. Scott's not a person to be like. So if anyone tells you that they like Scott Pilgrim versus the World for Scott, that's kind of a red flag. If they like Scott and want to be like Scott, very much a red flag. Now, people that just like the movie in general and understand what it's trying to say, that's a bit different. But I would be a little concerned if somebody came up to me and was like, oh, my favorite movie? Yeah, it's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Oh, I love it. It's so good. Scott's such a fun character. Man, I wish I was like Scott. Anyone who says that is definitely probably a bit of an asshole. A bit of an asshole, you know. But this is why Scott Pilgrim throughout the movie acts as the perfect protagonist to hate. Because that's what he's designed to be. He's designed to show what not to do and to show change towards the end of the movie. He helps show that nobody's perfect. He's a bad guy. Even though he's the protagonist, he's just as bad as the antagonist, the evil exes. But he can change. Just because someone's the protagonist doesn't mean they have to be the good guy. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed me breaking down Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, then you'll probably enjoy my video about Inside by Bo Burnham and talking about behind the songs and what they mean. Or you might like my videos on Spy Kids or Himigoto, which is just kind of funny reviews. And there's going to be some commentary stuff up too about different things. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it, subscribe and hit that notification bell or comment. Any interaction really helps because I'm a small channel. So anything to help me boost up in the algorithm. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.